Water leak problems have historically been surrounded by a certain amount of mystery because they're sometimes difficult to diagnose and can appear to be impossible to eliminate. The truth of the matter is that any technician can become a water leak expert simply by using the right service procedures and sealants. This training film is designed to provide you with a scientific approach to water leak problems. First, we'll cover the diagnosis procedures you can use to quickly locate leaks. Then we'll identify the various types of sealants that are recommended for eliminating specific types of leaks. Finally, we'll diagnose and repair a couple of example leak problems to illustrate the use of the service procedures and sealants. There's one key word to remember when it comes to diagnosing water leaks: logic. The one sure way to eliminate the mystery factor from water leak assignments is to adopt a logical, step-by-step approach. Water leaks don't simply appear, they can be traced to very specific causes. Improperly adjusted components, such as doors, rear hatches, and vent windows. Improperly installed or faulty weather strips. Windows with sealer voids. Open body seams. Holes at weld nuts, screw holes, or molding clips. Missing body plugs. Or spot weld burn holes. When discussing a leak problem with the customer, the service advisor can avoid wasted diagnosis time by asking the right questions. There's one particular question that should always be asked. Has the customer simply noticed water accumulating in a particular area? Or has he actually seen water dripping? Obviously, if he can show you where he spotted water dripping, you'll be that much closer to locating the leak. Many technicians perform a water spray test the moment a water leak job is assigned to them. This is the wrong approach. Actually, a water test may not even be required. If it is necessary, it should be the last diagnosis step. Your first diagnosis step on all water leak assignments should be a visual inspection. Always look for obvious clues during your visual inspection. For example, there are 2 clues you should check for when water is accumulating on the floor of the passenger compartment. First, is the water clean or dirty? Clean water tells you that rainwater or water from car washes is dripping down to the floor. Dirty water indicates a leak that's allowing water from the road to enter the vehicle. Stains are another good clue. They sometimes provide a visible trail you can follow to the leak point. These same clues can help you in diagnosing cargo area leaks. Stains can also lead you to other leaks, like door leaks, which can result in an accumulation of water on the seats. Equipped with the customer's input and the clues provided by visible water stains and water color, you should be able to at least narrow the leak point down to a particular area of the vehicle very quickly. You can then continue your visual inspection by looking for one or more of the possible problems identified earlier. In some cases, your diagnosis procedure must go beyond the initial visual check. A light test is helpful in pinpointing sealer problems in sheet metal joints, particularly in the wheelhouse area. If you suspect that this may be your problem, you'll need a flashlight and a helper to perform a light test. Have a helper pass the flashlight along the seams and joints in the suspect area while you look for light shining through, which indicates an opening in the sealer. If a visual inspection and light test don't direct you to the leak point, there's another diagnostic check you should use, the ultrasonic test. To perform this test, you'll need a special tool, a listener tool, which consists of a detector gun and an ultrasonic generator. This tool is available through the AMC tool program. High-frequency sound waves emitted by the generator have certain properties that are similar to water. Like water, these sound waves can't penetrate solids, such as glass or metal, but they can pass through cracks and openings. The generator will fill the vehicle with sound waves, which will leak out through the same openings that allow water to leak in. In order for the listening tool to be effective, the leak opening must be clear of water. If the leak is blocked by water, the sound waves will be trapped inside the vehicle. This is one reason why a water test should be the last step in your diagnosis procedure. The water test should be your last resort if the initial visual inspection, light test, or ultrasonic test doesn't isolate the leak. To perform the water test, sit inside the vehicle while a helper flows water over the suspected leak area. Logic also applies here. Always start flowing water at the bottom of the suspect area. This will help you determine the exact level at which the water is entering the vehicle. Don't rush the water test. Keep in mind that the water may have to flow for a while before it leaks into the vehicle. Once you've identified the source of a water leak, the next step is to eliminate it. Depending on the problem, an adjustment to or replacement of various components may be required. Your AMC and Jeep technical service manuals contain complete instructions for these procedures. In this film, we'll be concentrating on leaks that can be eliminated by the use of a sealant. Many water leaks can be eliminated with the right sealant. Unfortunately, sealants and their specific applications can be a confusing area. If you have any questions in your mind about sealants, the following information should be of interest to you. If you locate a leak between a weather strip and a body panel, and the weather strip doesn't need to be replaced, a sealing operation is in order. There are 3 recommended sealants you can use. Both Kent Industries and 3M make bedding and glazing compounds that are well suited for this application. These sealants remain permanently soft to work in conjunction with pliable weather strips. They also have non-sag characteristics which make them ideal for vertical and overhead applications. Probably one of the most misunderstood types of leaks are those that develop at windshield or rear window glass seams. Some glass is sealed with urethane and some with butyl tape. Leaks at these 2 types of sealers require different fixes. 2 products are recommended for leaks in the butyl tape applications: 3M's Window Weld Resealant or Kent Industries Wet-Dry Resealant. These pump-grade sealants, which flow easily into pinholes, adhere to glass or painted metal. They dry fast, forming a flexible, rubbery seal. Leaks in urethane applications should be sealed with either of these 2 products: Kent Industries Wet-Dry Resealant or 3M's Window Weld Resealant. These sealants remain soft and pliable to cushion glass movement, thus maintaining an effective seal even when the glass and body panels are flexing. All of these leaks can be sealed with the same types of sealants: holes at weld nuts, screw holes or molding clips, missing body plugs, and spot weld burn holes. The recommended sealant varies with the size of the hole. Large holes can be filled with another product called strip caulk. Small holes can be sealed with Kent Industries Quick Leak Check or 3M's Auto Joint and Seam Sealer, Flow Grade. These are light-colored, fast-drying, flowable sealers designed for use on small joints, seams, or holes. They dry quickly to a firm, rubbery consistency and can be painted shortly after application if necessary. These same sealants can be used on body joint and seam leaks. Again, the applications vary with the size of the area to be sealed. The flowable sealers should be used to seal small joint and seam leaks, while strip caulk is recommended for filling large gaps. If you have occasion to seal an overhead or vertical seam or joint, There are two more 3M sealants that you might consider using. These products, all-around body sealant and auto joint and seam sealer, are ideally suited for these uses because of their no-sag characteristics. Both can be painted soon after application, which makes them ideal for drip rail leaks. Kent Industries makes a similar sealant which is called Sealaseam. Copies of this chart have been included in this training kit. The chart tells you exactly what sealants to use for any given type of leak. If you use the recommended sealants, you should never have to seal any leak more than once. To help you understand the information we've covered so far, let's run through a few example diagnosis and repair jobs. For our first example, we'll diagnose a problem involving water accumulating in the cargo area of a spirit. We'll assume that the customer hasn't reported any drips, just the accumulation problem. The water is clear, so we know that the water entering the vehicle is rain, snow, or car wash water. A quick check for stains indicates that the water is entering the vehicle near the bottom of the rear hatch. Now we simply need to pinpoint the leak. There are a couple of things that we need to check. The hatch alignment should be checked at the areas highlighted here. Ours appears to be properly aligned, so we can continue the visual check. The weather strip should also be inspected. This one's intact, and there's no gaps evident between the weather strip and the body. At this point, we've completed the visual inspection step. On leaks of this type, the light test wouldn't be effective. However, an ultrasonic test can be helpful. If you have access to a listener tool, perform an ultrasonic test at this point. If you don't have a listener tool, or if you perform an ultrasonic test that yields no clues, a water test is the next step. Notice that we're starting at the bottom of the leak area. The water leaking in between the rubber channel and the rear glass during this step reveals the leak location. This is a sealable leak. So now we need to prepare the leak area and choose the proper sealant. Preparation is important because the leak area should be clean and dry before you apply the sealant in order for the sealant to be effective. In our example, the glass and channel need to be blown dry with compressed air. The reference chart identifies the correct sealant that should be applied. We can now apply the sealant to the channel and window. This procedure is also applicable to leaks between the channel and body. Always be sure to clean up any excess sealant following the instructions printed on the container. Then retest the leak area to be sure the leak has been sealed. And finally, vacuum the water up and, if necessary, shampoo the carpet in the leak area. Be sure to inform the customer that the damp carpet will require a couple days drying time. For our next example, we'll diagnose and repair a leak that's allowing water to drip from the inside of a Jeep Wagoneer windshield. The service writer has noted that the customer has seen water dripping, although it's not apparent during our visual inspection. On leaks of this type, a light test would be of no value, so the next step would be an ultrasonic test. We've now located a leak, so this should be marked with chalk or a similar tool. Let's continue testing. We've now located a second leak, which should also be marked for repair. Next, we need to prepare the leak areas and choose the proper sealant. Before the sealant is applied, the leak areas must be cleaned with 3M General Purpose Adhesive Cleaner or Kent Acrosol. If any water is present at the leak areas, it should be blown dry. Now we need to consult the chart for the correct sealant. We can apply the sealant between the weather strip and the windshield, then reinstall the molding. Again, any excess sealant should be removed. Unfortunately, we don't have time to review in detail each type of leak in this film. But equipped with the information we've covered, you should be able to eliminate the mystery factor from most water leak problems. Remember that the quickest approach to diagnosing a water leak is a scientific, logical approach. If your job duties involve the write-up function, be certain that the customer's problem is defined properly. Always perform a visual check to take advantage of any obvious clues as to the leak source. If applicable, use a light test, an ultrasonic test, or a water test. Remember to perform the tests in their proper sequence. Finally, always consult your reference chart for the right sealant.